this self-tolerating, sometimes even self-hating to get to the next level, saying, oh, well, I didn't push hard enough today, or, well, I still have so much more to do, so you need to get your ass together. Saying these horrible, horrible pressure, hustle culture building things to ourselves in order to urgency push us to the next level.
This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. This episode takes a deep dive into perfectionism, relentless inner critics, and that pressure to always do more. You know what I'm talking about. Urgency, hustle culture, never good enough. I fall victim often to the bullshit belief that the only way to keep achieving is by pushing and pouring on the tough love. Not for my clients, mind you, just inside my own head. I have all the space and grace in the world for my clients and helping overcome their perfectionism challenges. So this topic is a great walk my talk opportunity for me, as it is for my guest. Nicole Baker Holleman is a fellow coach who specializes in this very subject. Nicole helps high achievers ditch perfectionism and cut out the hustle culture. Her whole mission is to help Type A folks achieve their goals with more fun, fulfillment, and freedom. Nicole has a podcast dedicated to this work with the brilliant title, Imperfect Success. We met through a mutual colleague and decided we wanted to go on each other's podcasts. I asked Nicole to go for courageous authenticity and be coached as an extremely successful subject matter expert who absolutely owns her own process around perfectionism. Take a look at your growth journey. Do you ever face unrelenting self-pressure? Does your inner critic tell you that what you've accomplished isn't good enough? You have to do more or risk it all disappearing? Think about those internal messages, much less the ones in our external world. What would it be like to be able to pause, just be present, and proud of who you actually are right now? That's my intention for this episode, to move beyond perfectionism. So lean back and we jump in after I asked Nicole to describe a growth moment where she has experienced her own perfectionism challenges in the past.
Going full-time in my business. This is about 3.5-ish years ago. Going full-time in my own business. It was this moment of, oh my gosh, I finally hit all of my goals, all this thing that I've been working towards for years and years and years, and it finally happened. And it was good. And one of the reasons that I mentioned it was such a big perfectionism moment was because I immediately went to the next thing. I didn't really stop and say, wow, look at the dream that you have just created for yourself. It was this moment of just like everything was coming true, and yet I realized it still wasn't enough.
So take a breath with that, Nicole, of just that mini story that you just told of I took this leap of faith. I went into what I had been working towards, dreaming of. And instead of there being this aha and reveling in that moment, the perfectionism reared up hard. And what was it saying to you at that moment?
It's not enough. It was saying it was not enough.
I'm just curious what comes up in your body or your head, heart right now.
It comes up that it's a very familiar feeling. And to say that this is something that I still struggle with is an understatement. But that idea that when I hit these goals, there's still more. There's still more to do. And it's almost like you asked, like, what does it feel like in my body? It's almost like there's this pit. I guess pit's a good word for it. Pit in my lower stomach that both feels like it's expanding and clenching at the same time.
Got really palpable, potent feeling.
Yeah. It feels like you're doing the right thing, but it's still not good enough.
You better go, you better get on it.
Yeah.
And
The urgency, it's like this urgency muscle of like, okay, but the next thing needs to happen now too. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing.
so this really big growth moment you had, leaping out of your day job into your dream. Make no mistake, that was big growth. How would you put it? It almost feels like it was what by the perfectionism?
By the perfectionism. I would say that it was this idea of, oh, this was your dream and now it's here. So there's this question of what's next, And I think that can be both such a strength and such a challenge. And I mean, I'll give another perfect example of this right now. I'm in the middle of starting a new podcast and things are going better than we could have ever imagined in life. And there's still that clenching of, okay, but like, you have to capitalize on this right now because what if it leaves you at this very moment? I think that's it. Oh, you're good. That's it right there. Because it's this idea of, is this all there is? Or when's the other shoe going to drop?
Yeah.
And I think that's perfectionism trying to like grasp a hold and take control of every single little thing it can.
So when I think about with clients, the inner critic, the saboteur, the committee in the head, whatever we call it, to me, it's almost like you're describing your inner critic has put on this outer shapeshifter, fake thing of, oh no, I'm here to help you be really good. I'm here to push you. I'm here to push. It's like this perfectionism worn as a false front. So tell me, for you, the relationship between perfectionism, inner critic, good ambition. What's your sense?
I'm a very future forward thinker. I'm always thinking about goals and pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And I've attached so much of my personality and my joy in life to that trait. And the fact that it's also sometimes my kryptonite is hard to even replace it with something else because it is such a default.
Well, because what don't you want to lose, Nicole? So I don't want to lose blank.
Everything. I don't want to lose my success, the things that I've worked day and night, literal blood, sweat, and tears for. And the fear of it's not even the fear of it not working out. It's almost the fear of what if it never happens in the first place? And that's why I almost feel like I have to sprint sometimes to the next thing.
So wait, I really want to understand that. Even though it's already happened, if you don't sprint and you don't keep going, then it might not ever happen again.
That's more for the new measuring stick. So the new goal that places that's suddenly in place of the
old goal.
Yeah. So like I achieve a goal and then suddenly it's on to the next thing.
Like, can't you just see it? It's
do.
Like, okay, I had this yardstick, and damn, I did it. Oh, now there's a new one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
This is something that so many people face, and so how do you see this show up with the people that come on your podcast that dive so deep into perfectionism and what you talk about there? Put on your host hat for a moment, flip it. So what's hitting you? Where are you saying, me too? When do you experience your own inner critic pressuring, pushing you to achieve with the message that you haven't done enough? Or worse, you can never do enough. That new yardstick automatically appearing as soon as you reach a goal. What I'm struck by is how sneaky inner critics can be, masquerading as something or someone helpful and necessary to your progress, but really just trying to control every bit of your life and keep you running until you drop. The perfectionist inner critic is such a party pooper and a pain in the ass. Mine can be relentless, Just when I think I have the inner critic safely locked down, it pops up with the same old story. Here is the important distinction. Shutting down perfectionism does not mean shutting down your ambition, drive, or potential for success. It's finding a new, better way to achieve and succeed. Let's keep going. We pick up after I asked Nicole to put on her coaching and podcast hat to reflect on what she sees in her clients when working on perfectionism.
It's so funny, and I'm sure you think very similarly. We can call out this pattern in others so easily because it's so ingrained in us a lot of the times. And the reason that, or excuse me, the ways that I see it show up for other people is this self-tolerating, sometimes even self-hating to get to the next level, saying, oh, well, I didn't push hard enough today, or, well, I still have so much more to do, so you need to get your ass together. Saying these horrible, horrible pressure, hustle culture building things to ourselves in order to urgency push us to the next level. And that's, I'd say, the most common denominator of everyone I talk to. It's this, I'm not doing enough and therefore I'm failing.
But look at the almost addiction
Yes.
to that tough love because of what I would say is a limiting belief that I can't achieve these heights. I can't scale these heights without it.
Yes. It's the phrase like my worth equals my work. It's my worth equals my success. I'd say it's along those lines.
What do you want to propel you forward for the rest of your life? Are you content and self-tolerating of this ever replacing yardstick, or are you dreaming of a different way?
It's funny. This is something I'm actively working on daily almost. And that is, I want the continuation of the dreaming. I want the continuation of, that's the thing I want. Let's go get it. And I have this phrase of, it's time to start enjoying the life you're working so hard for. And that's the big thing here is present moment thinking over future moment thinking. So to answer your question, my goal here would be to keep the joy of having a vision and to marry it with the joy of being in the present moment and living my life now and enjoying my life now.
So if you could take this new way, and so what would happen to the yardstick with this? Where would that go or be?
I don't even know if it would be a yardstick anymore. I think it would instead just be a vision. I don't really know what I would replace it with, but it almost feels like the journey beats out the yardstick.
So take a breath and close your eyes if you can and just picture yardstick gone. What do you see?
It's almost just like an expanse. It's an expanse. There's no tether from me to there. It's just walking to it, walking towards it.
And so this measurement, this relentless measurement is not what propels you forward.
It's almost like being pulled forward versus crawling forward. Yeah.
Where do you get that in your body? If the pit was there before, what's here now?
It almost feels like I'm expanding. It feels like I'm bigger than I was a moment before in like an energetic way. And I feel it far more up in my almost heart center area versus the clutching down in my gut.
So just welcome that feeling in for a moment. What else do you notice?
I notice I get a little tingly in my head. I'm getting some like head tingles. I don't know how else to describe them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Check out the difference of this pull from the vision. That's what moves you, as opposed to pressure clutching. What if it's not enough? What if it doesn't happen again? And the tingles make me think of, inspiration and new things bubbling and new things emerging. Like there's so much more space for like more cool shit to happen.
Yeah. It feels like there's an element of play and fun
Yes.
and ease. Ease is the word I'm looking for. Ease along with it.
That it's easy, not hard.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, if you could somehow go back to that leap of faith moment with as much growth that took place there to do it, if we could, change the story, what would have happened then if there wasn't a yardstick and there was this feeling instead? What do you want to propel you forward? What might your new, better way to achieve and succeed look like? Nicole put it as, it's time to start enjoying the life I'm working so hard for. To keep the inspiration of having a vision and marry it with the joy and ease of the present moment. Oh, I love that. It's a great visual of replacing the perpetual yardstick with the freedom of being pulled forward by your vision. Moving from gut clenching to expanded, expansive heart and head tingling inspiration. Nicole was already working on her big shift. We just locked it in, reinforced it. Notice the power of going beyond intellectualizing a new way into eyes closed, imagining it, feeling it in her body. This is how we create true change. I want you to keep pondering your own new way. You can close your eyes and imagine how you can move beyond your own relentless yardstick. Create some space for your initial ideas and inspiration. We come back for a few last minutes with Nicole as she describes what it would have been like a few years ago when she took her leap of faith to start her business, to not have the yardstick and no perfection pushing inner critic.
I would have sat in it for a moment and paused to let myself feel proud.
So we're back there right now. I'm time shifting us. I want you to sit in this moment and tell me what you're so proud of.
Proud of my tenacity. I was working 3 jobs and working on my business at the same time. I was posting in the bathrooms at my, bartending job. I was listening to audiobooks on neuroscience while I was cleaning yoga studios. I was so proud of my whatever it takes attitude. The more and more I learn, the more I realize that is a trait that I possess and I need to be proud of. I'm also proud of myself for following a getting out of my comfort zone attitude. I was working with a coach at a time who really pushed me in a way that I was so scared, and in the best way. And I'm really proud that I took leaps and they paid off. And I'm proud that I showed up in a way that made people feel comfortable investing in me as a coach at the time.
So a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of courage, I'm hearing, a willingness to grow. Is there more pride there?
There is a deep belief that I was capable of doing this. I'm not going to even make that past tense. There still is. That hasn't gone away.
Yeah. Now I'd like you to pull all that pride into present tense.
Yeah.
So right at this moment, not because of a yardstick, not because you better keep moving, otherwise it might all go away. Feel everything that you're proud of now, here. How are you going to leverage that, Nicole, for the growth moment that you're currently in?
It all comes back to being more present. That really is where it comes back to, is practicing more presence and being more aware of how freaking fucking far I've come and really given myself a lot more credit for that. And especially as I'm entering a period that is very heavy push period, to pause and say, yes, it will all get done, but above all, feel pride in yourself for what you're doing to make this happen. That really, I haven't felt that in a long time, and it's bringing tears to my eyes. Oh.
So check out the cool thing that you did. You moved from perfection to a 3 alliterative pause, presence, and pride. You replaced perfectionism with something deeper, richer, and even more powerful.
Yeah. Way more powerful. Feels so much better.
There it is. Replacing perfectionism with something better. For Nicole, it's pause, presence, and pride. We kept coaching, and Nicole's final action and commitment was to put those 3 words on a Post-it note right on her computer where she looks at it every day, stopping the inner critic in its tracks. I love Nicole's willingness to grow. Originally, we were only going to chat about her growth over the past few years, but she went for it right into the deep end. Nicole is a stellar coach, a very successful podcaster, and she doesn't just talk about imperfect success, she lives it, embodies it. What a cool growth moment. Now for you, what ahas, insights, and inspiration are you walking away with? How will you move beyond perfectionism? Do you have a Post-it note of your own to create? I invite you to pause, be present, and say out loud what you are so proud of. See how that helps expand your heart and mind. Know that we're all journeying through life together. You are part of my circle. I do want you to go check out Nicole's incredible podcast, Imperfect Success, and you can find her at lifecoachbaker.com. And remember that you can have your own growth moment, one-on-one private coaching, or join one of my coaching groups or workshops. To get the scoop, visit thegrowthmoment.com and absolutely subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app and my YouTube channel. Now get out there and grow today.